All right, awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. So I think most of you know me now, but excuse me, my name is Rachel Harper. I'm the Queensland Touch Football Marketing and Comms Manager. Firstly, I guess just the usual housekeeping bits and pieces. So thank you. Some of you have popped yourselves on mute already. But yeah, just if you can keep it that way, just to reduce the background noise, that'd be great. This session will be recorded and it's mostly just so we can send it out to those who are unable to attend this evening. And also too, so you can reflect back if you'd like to. Some of you have done it already, but if you've just jumped on the chat with us, if you can just pop your name, your affiliate and your title in the chat function for us, that just lets us know who's on the session tonight, which would be great. Now, we will have, Rachel's going to take you through the system, Rachel Stacey, but we might, if you do have any questions throughout, just send them through the chat and we'll have time to ask all those questions at the end of every section. This will just keep it moving really nicely. As always, we'll do our best to answer all of them, but if we don't know it or we run out of time, we promise we will get back to you or get back to the wider group. But I guess firstly, I'll introduce Rach. Most of you know her, but I think, you know, there are actually two of us, two Rachels in the QTF office. I think we've confused quite a few people over the past 12 months. So yeah, I think it's also a good opportunity just so you can see the two of us as well. But Rach is our projects and sponsorship manager. And she's been with QTF for a few years now. And I know you've all had quite a lot of dialogue with Rach over the past months with MySideline and everything that's been going on. But Rach is going to take you through this evening's agenda and she'll guide you through the MySideline system tonight. So Rach, I might hand over to you.
Thanks for that, Rach. Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Stacey and I'm the Sponsorship and Projects Manager for Queensland Touch Football. You might recognise me from running around at the Junior and Queensland State Cups trying to make sure that everything runs smoothly. Sorry, Harp's just muted me halfway through that. But tonight I'll be taking you through MySideline to teach you a couple of the things that you need to know to get ready for the new competition ahead, because Touch is back, yes. As Rach mentioned earlier, we're going to work through the back end of the system first from an admin perspective, and I'll show you how to create a competition, create products, make sure your competition is live, and how to close it off once it's all done or your entries are exhausted. After each section tonight, I will provide some additional sort of hints and tricks that we've found along the way, and we'll answer any questions that might have come up in the chat. We'll then shift our focus to look at the system from the user experience and some of the workarounds that we've created as Queensland Touch Football or we've found along the way that might help you and your participants through this process. Finally, if we have time, I will go through how to update draws, input scores, create scorecards, and etc. If we don't get there tonight though, as we know we've got a lot to get through and everyone's really busy, so I don't want to keep you for too long, we'll try and organise another session if this is of value for people. So firstly, I would like to thank everyone for being so patient. We understand that 2020 has thrown a huge curveball for us, and if having to deal with COVID wasn't enough, you've also had to move on to a new system. I'd like to remind everyone that this system is still a work in progress and is still being built as we're moving through. So it might not be exactly what we thought it would have been at this stage, but it will provide benefits to the sport in the long run. And we've just got to get through the next couple of stages of the builds, but TFA are confident that it will make our life easier. I will preface tonight and say that I'm not going to be able to answer all of your questions, and I'm not going to be able to solve all of the problems that you might be having. This is not our project and we don't have 100% control over it, but I hope what I can deliver tonight will help you understand the system and might give you some more updates on where TFA are with the build. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen now and take you through a couple of aspects of the system. So just to get started, everyone should have access to the MySideline database for your affiliate. If you don't, please contact your affiliate services or your regional administrator ASAP to get this sorted. Once you're in the system, you'll be able to see the database and the first thing you need to know once you're there, if you just give me 2 seconds, I'm going to share my screen. We'll just wait for that one to come up. Give me a couple of seconds here. The first thing you need to know once you're in the system is, has that come through? Sorry, I can't just see what's been shared. Can you see the MySideline? Right?
Yep, you can, right? Yep.
Okay, so down the bottom here, you can see the support ticket. So that's really important for everyone to know. I know there's been lots of emails coming through to myself or regional administrators and affiliate services. However, if you're having any troubles, try here first. You can click on here and it will take you through little tours on how to do things, or you can open a support ticket. So if you're seeing anything that you think might be a bug in the system, Jody, I know with what you had today when we were talking, I know you've been in touch with Sam, something like that, put that through the support ticket, because then the developers can see it and can try to update. Now, I've got a couple of videos that will take you through the system. So just sit back, listen, and I'll provide some information post. Just let me rate that this comes up.
It's time to set up our competitions. Select competitions from the left-hand side tab. Then click Add Competition.
Oh, sorry guys.
From here, we'll type in competition details. Some of these are related to the registration.
I'm going to pause that because I know I just stopped it for everyone. Sorry.
It's time to set up our competitions. Select competitions from the left-hand side tab. Then click Add Competition. From here, we'll type in competition details. Some of these are related to the registration. For the competition name, let's use the year that we're running, the season that we're running, and the type of competition, all in the name, so it's easy to find. Your association should appear from the drop-down, and there should be one competition type for touch football. The age level is a functional field. If you select any of the under ages, it'll allow that age and the age below to register. If you select seniors, it'll allow 19 plus to register. Masters, 35 plus. If none of these apply to your competition, use all ages to allow everyone to register. How many rounds is your competition running for? How many rounds of finals is your competition running for? Are you playing in halves? The answer is 2. How long is each half? Gender again is a functional field. If you only allow male or females to register to this competition, select either of those. If you don't have a limit, select all. Do you allow scoring? The answer is generally yes, unless it's a junior competition or a non-competitive competition. How many games does a person need to play to qualify for finals? This will allow the system to figure out if they're eligible. Pool competition? This will put your teams into A, B, C, etc. Generally, your weekly competitions, the answer here is a no. Max number of teams. We'll set this to 0 to start with, so that the team registration isn't available. Once we remove the 0, it will allow teams to register. If you've got a competition capacity, for example, your competition can only accept 12 teams due to field availability. If you put 12 in here, once that 12th team is registered, it'll provide an EOI form for those still trying to register. Down here we've got some draw builder helpers. Select the day that your competition is going to start on. Select the default time that your competition is going to start. How many days between rounds? Generally, if it's a weekly competition, it's 7. The venue. This is very important for finding the competition, as this is the address that is mostly used. If your venue is not there, contact support and we'll assist you in adding this. Number of fields that the competition uses, and then click Save.
Perfect. So as you can see, creating a competition in the system is actually pretty easy, but a couple of things you need to know about this process are the competition name is how people are going to find you in the TFA finder. So make it really simple and really clear to what your competition is. So as is shown in that example, 2020 summer season men's Div 1, something that people will be able to find yours when they're looking. The age groups that you can put in, as you would have seen there, have only a 2-year period. So if you select under 8s or under 7s, etc., you'll only be able to have the 2 years under that group, which we know is not ideal. If you have set one up and you've put an under 10s and someone either older than under 10 or say 6-year-old has tried to enter, they will appear as a coach in the system or a non-playing player. We know this is an issue. We have flagged this with Touch Football Australia that a lot of us don't run a 2-year age group for our competitions, and they've put it up on their high priority list to try and fix. At the moment, the only solution for this is to create it as an all ages category and just double check that you're not getting people too old or too young entering in that. I know it's not ideal, but that's kind of what we have to deal with right now. To create a competition as well, the next step, you will have to create a competition for each competition division that you run. So if you run 10 different divisions, you'll need to create 10 different competitions. Currently, you can't copy or bulk edit these competitions, but this is in scope and hopefully will be built into the next sort of phases that we have coming up. So Harps, that's just the creation of a competition. Did any questions come through there?
No, I think everyone's quite comfortable with that one, Rach. We can move on.
Perfect, sounds good. We'll move along. So the next bit we're going to look at is any other information you need to know for your competition setup requirements.
Let's finish setting up our competitions. Click the competition you've just created. You'll now notice there's more tabs along the top. Let's go to the Ladders tab. Select the ladder template. This will show how the ladder will work. If you need any of these to change, feel free to do so by typing in your own answers. You can also change the order here by dragging and dropping. Once you're happy with how the ladder is, click Save. The display options. This is how it'll show on the website. Whilst you're still creating your competition and working on your fixtures, best to have No on the public display. If public display is No, all the others will remain as No. Once you're ready for it to load, click Yes. You can use the results as a yes, ladder as a yes. Team list will show members that are registered, and this will allow player stats to come through to the website. You can also hide date ranges by selecting the start date and the date that you want to hide to, and then submit. This will hide any fixtures created in that time. Then click Save. They're the only functions that we need right now while setting up our competitions.
So Harps, can you just confirm that that video played?
Yep, video played. We just can't see your pretty face.
That's all good. You don't need to see that right now. So as in, again, that's all pretty simple to go through, but the key things that you need to be aware of here is that there's currently only one ladder option. So we're not sure whether there'll be multiple options that you can go in and edit your own ladders. If this is something, and templates for that, if that's something that's really important for you, can you please let us know so we can put that as an FYI through Touch Football Australia to let them know. But hopefully everyone's happy just using the normal ladder template at the current moment. A couple of the affiliates have gone through this process and they've found the competition they've created have not been displayed in the Finder. So first of all, what you really need to do is make sure you have clicked on the public aspect where you saw in the display, and that should fix it. Currently, just be aware that this is a manual tick and it refreshes, and there was a period where it was taking a bit of time for that to update, and that's because it's somebody was sick for a little bit of time, so they weren't able to update. So if there's any delays in the system, just because it's still being built, it's probably just a refresh, and it should be all sorted the next day. So any questions on that section come through?
No, just a reminder, if anyone, guys and girls, if you have any questions, just send them through the chat function and we can ask away. But no, Rach, all good. Oh, here we go, we've got one. When you change the default score for a forfeit, will that affect a team's for and against as well as a differential, or does it just +5 and -5 to the differential stat? Is that a takeaway?
It depends what you've put it in there. We do go into a little bit more in the forfeit later in this discussion, but leave that one with me. I might come back to you if you've got that name, Rach. I'll make sure that we send an email to that one and chase up tomorrow.
Can do.
So the next section we're going to move into is the creating your products.
Let's set up our products, ready for registration. In the fees section, we'll provide the options of what we actually offer for people to register as. As we don't take club memberships generally, these are all $0 values. If you have a club membership, you can add a fee here. Any fee added here will go through the gateway. Make sure you open up all member types that you are going to take registrations for. Now you can see all our member types are below. If at any point in time you need to change these, whether or not it be opening, closing, change the price or change the ages, you can simply edit. Next tab is the saleable items. This is where you can add a product to the member registering form. Something could be like a hat. Provide a description of the hat. Provide a price of the hat. Again, any value of money put through here will go through the gateway. So if you don't want to take payment online, please use 0. Provide the member types that you want to sell to. You can select multiple here. Require size. This will give a pre-populated list. If you have limited amount of sizes and you want to remove and add products, you should make a different item for each size. Gender, are all genders able to buy this hat? And what ages are able to buy this hat? You might have different hats for different ages. The next one along is the competition fees. This is how we set up the fees taken for the competition. You have the option of team pays or player pays. This means that every team that registers will be given the option to pay $1,200, or every player that registers will have to pay the $50 amount. The status closed means that players can't register into this team anymore. Open means that players can register. Online payment required. Is the payment compulsory or optional? And save. This will then provide the information down here of which you can edit and save or remove. Competition saleable items are items that are sold to the team manager as they're registering the team. Competition date range discounts are discounts that are taken off the competition fees. So again, we select the competition, the discount type. Let's give them 10% off for registering in the first week. This discount name, let's call it Early Bird. And we've got the discount amount of 10 and the discount type of percentage. Click Add. Your products are all set up and ready to go. This will allow your competition to open and your players to register.
Okay, so again, products pretty simple in the system. The key thing is you must have a product connected to a competition for it to be visible in the Finder. That has caught a couple of people up so far. Unfortunately, you're going to have to create a product for each competition, which, yes, does mean you will need to create a different product for each age group, division, etc. that you offer. Saleable products. These can be used, say you're an affiliate that has a team fee of 500, whatever what it is, but you also offer an individual payment, which they can do upfront and do $100 online, or they can do $6 or $7 every single week of the competition. If you want to offer that, I would suggest using an saleable product in your system for that individual fee, because that way you can list in the name the description of what it is. If you do it as 2 competition fees as a user and a team pays, you won't be able to label what they are. You can always put them as payment required or not required in both the saleable and the competition one, but for an idea like that, I'd suggest the saleable is your best option. The other option that is in the saleable products that you can do is obviously your uniforms, as was described there. But the key thing to think about in that, it does have a size guide in there, but that might have kids, 16s, 4s, 5s in it, and up to 5XLs, and you can't currently edit that. So what you don't want is to be offering a shirt and you not actually have that size available. So I would suggest creating multiple different products with the actual size you have listed, so that you know you've actually got your product available in the system. The only other thing to note with that is you can't set a limit on it. So if you only have 5 shirts or 10 shirts and you don't take that product off when you've already got 100 people trying to purchase it, that might be where you get into a bit of trouble. So just to be aware of that one. The final section in the setting up the competitions is just going to be how to turn it off when you're either all done taking registrations or when the competition's finished.
How to close your registrations. In the competition setup, select the max teams amount as 0 or the number of teams that's already registered into your competition to close off the team registrations. How to close off member registrations. Click into the products, click into the competition fees, and change the status here to closed and save. This will close the players registering into the team, and the max teams will close the teams registering into the competition. Note, once you've closed everything, it'll push to an EOI for the competition or the member, so that if a team does drop out, or perhaps prior to opening competitions, there's a way to capture those that are still interested in playing.
Perfect. So that's how to create a competition. Hearts, I think we've got a couple of questions that have come through. If you want to quickly rattle off, obviously understanding we're trying to get through a fair bit tonight.
Yeah, so I'll just fire a few at you, Rach, and as mentioned, if we don't get to all of them, we'll come back to you. Can you clarify for us, Rach, what is the difference between the fees and the competition fees?
Yeah, absolutely. That's an easy one. So in this system, it's a little bit different to what we were like in Sports TG. So where we used to have to create a club for your referees, your coaches, etc., you don't need to do that anymore. So you create everything in the front end as your member, and you can leave that free. So if you have no costs associated with refereeing at your affiliate, keep it 0, but it means that's how the referees will be able to find and enter into your system. So I will walk through that and how it looks from the user experience, so that might make a little bit more sense in a second.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Rach. And in terms of a discount, can you have a discount for multiple family members registering?
Yeah, look, discounts is something that is in the build and hopefully will be worked on in the next section that they're working through. It's not available yet, but we know it is high priority. We keep pushing that forward. So hopefully it should be updated shortly.
And I know we actually talked about this yesterday, Rach, but the Fair Play vouchers, is there an easy way to manage those in the
Look,
system?
at the moment, the best option is probably putting it as a fee. So, but the issue, so what we've been told by Touch Football Australia is to make your competition fee not required. That way they can enter, you can say it's, if you've got not, so if they, sorry, I'm getting tongue tied. If they, you don't need to be compulsory. So it'll give you the option for paying or it won't. The issue with this obviously is that we know people are going to take advantage of the system. So, and it means a fair bit of following up for you. One of the other areas is you can put something in your saleable items to use that, but the discount code, it will eventually provide that option for the Fair Play voucher. So we're pushing to get that sorted as soon as possible. I know Queensland government has announced those, so I know there's lots of questions coming about that. Sorry, I can't give you a really good outcome for that tonight, but I will keep pushing with Touch Football Australia.
Thanks, Rach. Yeah, thank you for all your time with this. I know it's been, yeah, quite overwhelming with everything that's been going on. Can you do orders rather than purchases? I think, for example, representative seasons. So you can take an order, I'm guessing.
Yeah, just don't make the saleable product payment required. That way they could order that for you.
And maybe we'll grab one more. In a situation where registrations are taken through a method other than MySideline, do we still need to create a product for each competition, or can we just create the competition and manually add in our teams?
You should be able to do it without the product, but I'm going to test that tomorrow in the UAT system just to make sure for you. So whoever that is, Rach, just write that down and we'll make sure we email them back tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll go back to everybody. We'll save these questions because these are really good questions that have come through. And oh, we've got some more coming through. This is great, guys. We'll do our best to answer them. Can you rename the competition fees, as we'll have a price for students and a price for adults? Is there that custom ability?
Not currently.
Okay.
I'm hoping it will be in the system, but it's not currently there. One of the big concerns that we have, and we have put forward to Touch Football Australia, and it is on the very high priority list, is customization of the system. So currently we can't customize anything in the registration process, or as you would have noticed in some of the emails that come out. So we're working really hard to make sure that that's a priority.
And in terms of Rach, can you, I guess is the first question, or how can you add payments that are other, essentially? So
we'd probably need a little bit more information. So I'm more than happy to take an email on that one, but I would suggest the saleable product because that's where you can create other products. But it's probably more needing some more requirements of what that other might be.
Yeah, awesome.
Cool. So from that one, now let's move on to what your participants are going to see when they try and enter. I'm sure lots of you have had a look, might have got really confused in the system. So I've got a couple of hopefully tricks or helps to help it make it a little bit easier. So I've chatted, I did a bit of research. I chatted to the Northern Territory guys who have obviously kicked off. And they said that the registration system has actually been pretty easy from a user experience. Obviously, keeping in mind that they've got a lot less affiliates up in NT than what we have in Queensland. So the main thing that they've experienced is participants who were in the Sports TG system and their details have been pulled across and a NRL account has technically kind of been made for them. That's where people have got caught up. If you're a new participant and you're creating an NRL account from the beginning, it's super easy. So I will chat to Rach post this and we'll try and create in the information that we send out potentially some little 1, 2, 3s of how to put on your website or on your Facebook or in emails out to older participants to help make it easy for them to register. So if I'm looking to enter a team, I'm a seasoned touch football player, so I know the affiliate I want to play to in. I head to the touch football website and I'm looking for Queensland, so /Queensland. And I know that I want to play at Caboolture. Pressure is on to spell it right. And I type it in and look at that. I have all of the different competitions that Caboolture are running. So that's really quite easy. I click on the competition I want to enter and I register. The process through there is actually quite simple. Once you're registering as a team coordinator, it'll get me to a page that lets me put in all my email addresses for my team members and it'll send them to the direct link to my team. So that is quite simple. The issue that might happen for people is when you're new to touch, you know you live in Gordon Vale and you know the postcode, so you type in your postcode and cool, Gordon Vale, at least that pops up. But if I scroll down, I have a bunch of other affiliates that are going to pop up. So when Cairns and Atherton and etc. have put all their competitions, this list is going to be huge. At least the system, and this is something that's happened recently, it's going to go based on what's closest. So what we have found as a way to try and help everyone with this process to make sure that it's just your affiliate that you're pushing people to is we have gone and created, and hopefully does that new page show up, Rach?
Oh, let's hope so. If not,
no, is the Queensland Touch showing?
Yeah, it's showing.
Cool. If you head to the Queensland Touch website, head to where can I play? You'll see we've created this on our website. So we've got all of the regions and all of the affiliates within each region. If I click on Hounds Graceville, I see find a competition. I click here and only Hounds competitions will pop up. So if I was Hounds, I'd be copying this link, copy and put it on my website to make sure if people are wanting to get in, they're only going to find my competitions to enter into. So that's one of the walkarounds. Make sure that you head to our website, copy that link. You will notice that if we don't have a link on this website, it's because you probably didn't have a competition when we started creating it. So if you come across this and you notice that any of the information is wrong or your competition isn't there, please send an email through to Rachel Harper. She will update it all and make sure that everything's available. I can help you find the link of how to create it just for your competition, and we'll also put it in any of the information that we send post this meeting so that you know how to do it from now on. But that link that is in here will not change because your name will always, as long as you don't change your affiliate name, it will always be that one. So you don't need to change multiple links like we used to have to in Sports TG. So if I am, my team's registered, I'm an individual, I'm trying to enter. So I am back on the Queensland, the Touch Football website. I click on register, I'm a player, and I'm in a really, specific name. No one's ever used this. My team's called I Can't Touch This. I type it in, and then I see, oh, everyone uses Can't Touch This, and I can actually see from all over the nation. So that's not ideal. Obviously, if you're seasoned, you know what affiliate you're looking for, that's easy enough. You can click in and you can register. But if you're new and you don't have much information about the sport, it's not ideal. So what you can do as an affiliate is same with, so let's go back to Caboolture. Caboolture actually is in Morayfield. So I spelled that wrong. So these are all of the teams that are in Caboolture's competition currently. So then I can save this link and I can show you how to do that. Again, we'll put it in any of the notes that we send out. To put this on your website that says, find your team here, I know it's hard, there's still lots of teams and some of your affiliates are going to have heaps, but in this process you could Control F and find all stars, and then I'm in. I can find that way. Still not ideal, but we're trying to find workarounds and we'll help you get to this stage. The other thing that we can do is each team has an ID, which you'll find in the system. We can create a link with that ID that is direct to each team. So again, we'll send that out how to do that. It's a bit hard for me to show you on this side, but we'll flick that through so everyone has that opportunity. So if a team has lost, a team contact lost their email, they didn't send their links onto their team contacts, they didn't know their team contacts when they started the process, you guys can help them out by sending them their direct team link. So as we started talking about earlier with your volunteer, your referees, your coaches, etc. Same thing, I go to register, I'm a referee, I type in call them, and then I can just register to call them through this. You don't need a club, you don't need a different link, it's all just through the registration button. So what you need to make sure is that you've created your member fields at the beginning of the system to give that option for everyone to enter in. If you're a coach and you register, you'll be able to register to a team as well. So then the final bit in this area is showing where your results and your fixtures are going to be. So we click into competitions, we scroll down, we find Queensland. I'm going to go up to North Queensland and I'm going to click on Townsville. And I'm pretty sure this competition has been pulled over from season 1. Oh, look at this. They had a competition on Sunday. Fantastic. So as you can see, this is what it looks like. Your results, they can find it here in this. So that link where your competitions are, again, that will never change. So you only have to have one link on your website. That is, here you can find your results and fixtures. You can see your ladder, your draw, and doesn't look like they've got their next games all set up to go. But if it was, and I looked at this one yesterday, it looks like this, it just didn't have the results in there. So this was where some people were saying, oh, our competition's not appearing. Why is that? That's because this was the manual refresh. So sometimes it just might take a little bit longer to appear in this area. So Rach, I know I've covered a lot there. Did any questions come through there?
Yeah, we had a few, but Rach, I think that was really quite thorough. I just want to reiterate. So, you know, families are getting confused by the large list of teams to select from when obviously they go to search within just one affiliate. So I know we've suggested like the workarounds with the customized, you know, if they go to just the affiliates list of teams, but that's still a long list. Can you just clarify, there is works of that being fixed moving forward? Like that is something Touch Football Australia are working towards to make that whole process a bit easier?
Which process, sorry, right?
So obviously when, you know, families are getting confused. So when they go to, I guess, register into a team, they're within an affiliation list, but there's still lots and lots and lots of teams. I guess just from start to finish, user experience, that is something that TFA are working on.
Look, we, and Rach knows this firsthand, we've put a lot of work in trying to figure out how we can make this user experience better. Because obviously, as it's exactly the same for you guys, we need people in the sport. We want to make it easy from clicking on your website, on clicking on your Facebook, etc., however you promote it, and then they click a link and they can enter. So we have worked really hard with Touch Football Australia on that. I know they are reviewing some of this as well. Obviously, in this system, we've been a bit, COVID obviously happened, loss of staff from the NRL, everyone is aware of. But the NRL are the ones that are really driving this at the moment. So we're a little bit hamstrung with some of that. But I can tell you, Nicola from Touch Football Australia has been working really hard to push a lot of this forward. So when we get feedback and updates, I'll definitely try and pass them on to the group as I can. But they are aware that some of this needs fixing. And you'll probably see over a day or so, things can change in the system as well.
And can members, Rach, join their club within an association, then join their team within their club? For example, Club Vipers Team Division 1 Men's.
Would need to know, the clubs is a bit different in our system now. Back in Sports TG, we had to have a lot of clubs, and a lot of those clubs weren't actual incorporated clubs. They were just a group of people who created a club as such. So Touch Football Australia are trying to keep that more for the actual clubs that are there. The clubs area is one that I haven't got as much knowledge about, but that one I will definitely chase up for you for over tomorrow.
And Rach, I think you touch on this a bit later, but can you delete a team?
Currently no, and yeah, I'll get to that as well, but you can make things inactive. We can't currently delete, same with competitions, you can't delete a team, you can make it not appear in the finder. I know, again, that's not ideal, but these are things that are in the next stage for the build, so hopefully we'll have some good news and updates on that shortly.
Yeah, just I think there's been some confusion with, accidentally creating teams and clubs, and then, individuals accidentally registering in them, but we can't necessarily delete them. So, there's a bit of a, so yeah, that's just another bit of feedback that's come through.
Yeah, absolutely. And well aware of all of that. If whoever is having that big trouble, can you send an email to either Rach Harper or myself, and we'll try and see what we can do over the next couple of days. It might be something that I can reach out to Nicola and they can do in the back end to help out as well.
Sounds good. Happy to move on, Rach.
Cool, awesome. All right, so let's get into the competition management. I know this is a really big thing for a lot of affiliates. I know there's heaps kicking off within the next week. So hopefully some of this will help during the process. So again, I've got a couple of little videos, sit, watch, they're a bit shorter, and then I'll provide some information post. The first one I'm going to show you is how to allocate players into teams and managing the squad management aspect. To add or remove players to a team, go to squad management. Select the team that you want to edit. Here you can see all registered players. The list on the right are your current team members. If you need to add other players to the team who are within your system, search for their name, click on them, and add to squad. You can also remove players from your squad. To update your squad, click Update Squad. On this page, you will also be able to see non-players who might consist of your coaches. They will appear on the right-hand side of your screen. Okay, so if you have opened new registrations, you'll be able to work through this process now. If you're still waiting on your members to be transferred from the old system, currently you will be able to see members in the system, but you won't actually be able to allocate them to teams. I have been working so hard trying to make sure that this is happening in all of your affiliates before you're starting off competitions, because this is needed for team score sheets, eligibility, everything. I understand that. I'm pushing really, really hard. I don't have an update on that yet. I'm sorry, but I'll keep pushing and keep touching base with Touch Football Australia, as I know a lot are kicking off in the next week. The next one we're going to work on is the draw builder. Now, I know a lot of people who are about to start new competitions, this is a scary topic at the current moment. Hopefully this will give you a bit of information, and I'll chat a bit more afterwards. Once you have created your competition and you have teams registered, you are now ready to create your draw. To do this, click into the draw builder, click Create Draw, select the competition you wish to create the draw for. Here you can see all the teams within the competition. You can move these teams around to create the sequence you would like, and you will see this changes the draw on the right. Once you are comfortable, click Next. You will now have to select your final template, and here confirm that your round dates are correct. Once they are correct, click Next. Finally, you will have to go through and edit times and field numbers. Once you are comfortable here, press Save. You will need to publish the draw for it to be visible on the website. So it's a bit different to what we were used to in Sports TG. I understand there is no fixture grid. I can tell you that the fixture grid is the highest priority for Touch Football Australia right now. They're working really hard to try and push that through. The best option you're going to have at the moment is unfortunately probably creating an Excel document, putting your fields and your time slots, because I know lots of people need to figure out that there might be clashes, that there might be certain fields that you can only have people on, there might be special requests, etc. I understand. I have to do the Junior State Cup draw, so I know how big a job it is, but that's going to be your best option to try and put these things through into your draw. Another one that has been coming up is this: if you can print a draw, you won't be able to print a fixture grid at the current moment because we don't have a fixture grid, but you can head to the website and print the draw, the weekly draw that I showed you earlier. And it's probably best to start moving people through to using it on their phones, because again, you don't necessarily want a draw put up in an area that's going to have crowding due to COVID at the current moment. So it might be an opportunity to sort of change some of those processes that we've had in the past. You might have noticed in that video that there's a draw import button. At the moment, this is set up for very similar to how you see the draw. I have been working with Touch Football Australia, showing them what we would probably want as a draw import, which would be a great, if we can get that, that will save us all a lot of time, not having to double handle a lot of things, but it's not currently there yet. You'll also know, and I know a couple of you have reached out about this, you can't put field 1A, you might have junior fields at the moment, so that's just one of the things to be aware of. It is, again, a high priority for Touch Football Australia. Another one that I've been getting lots of email about is your scorecards. So I'll show you how to go through that process now. Scorecards can be populated by the report button. Click on reports, scroll down and click on team sheet report. From here, you can select the style of scorecard you would like. The TFA sign-on scorecard will allow team names and shirt numbers to appear on the scorecard, while the TFA scorecard will not. You can select your date range here. If you select a competition, only that competition scorecards will be populated. If you leave this section blank, all games that are played within this date range, scorecards will be populated. Once you are ready, click Submit. So in that process, that's similar to the reports, which some of you might have worked on. It'll populate and you download, and then you'll get it in a PDF version. At the moment, if you don't need your names on your scorecards, I know a lot of affiliates just do smaller ones and they don't have names. I just suggest using the TFA scorecard. That'll be easier for you. And just don't select a competition, because that will give you your whole competition night. It'll make it much easier for you. The only issue at the current moment is if you aren't, and we'll get into this in a second, if you don't have your team members in the system yet, you won't actually be able to put any team members on the scorecard, which we understand is an issue. Another thing to note, and this is information for NT because they've gone through the process, is currently the scorecards will print 4 on a page, And so if that's too small for you, they started printing theirs on A3 so that they were a bit bigger. They also print in portrait at the moment, and it doesn't seem, they weren't able to change that. So that's why you might have to do it a little bit bigger. So play around with these things before you get to your competition night, because you don't want to be surprised just before everyone starts arriving. The next bit we're going to talk about is inputting players into the team list. If you need to allocate players to team lists, either for eligibility or for scorecards, you can do this through clicking on matches. Selecting the competition that you require. Selecting the first match. Then click on the team list. Here you will be able to input player names as they are populated in your system, their position and their shirt number. To add to the team list, press Add Player. Once you have your team list populated, submit team list. So currently you're going to have to add each player, which I understand is going to be a long process for a lot of affiliates where they've got lots of teams. The plan is that this will just populate. It's just in the process and will hopefully be there shortly. Another bit is inputting scores. So there has been an update in the system where you can do your quick results. So I'll show you how to work through that process now. To input scores, select Match Scores. If you are looking to enter scores for one competition, you can select that competition here. However, if you leave this section blank and put in the date range you require, you will be able to see all games of all competitions that occur during that date range. If you select bulk edit, that gives you the option to edit all of these scores. You then can change from pre-game to final once the scores are complete. You also have the option of selecting a forfeit or washed out during this process. Once you are comfortable with your scores, click Save Edits. So a couple of hints that we've been given from the NT guys is that if you put, you type in the first score, you can just tab across to the next, and then you can tab till you get to the final bit and then go down to get to put that in. So just play around with that. You'll find out easy ways to do that quicker. The key thing is that you need to click it to final, obviously, to make it finished. If you select forfeit in this section, you'll need to go back into the actual match and allocate who was forfeited. So it gives you the process when you go back in, you can click forfeit, it gives you whatever the game status is, click forfeit and allocate that. Once you've done that, it'll populate the correct points that you allocated when you're creating your competition. So the final thing that I want to talk about is just your reports. I understand that it's been a bit of hassle for some people to get it to download, and then it comes in an Excel document. To be honest, for me, that hasn't been an issue because that's how I always used it anyway. I would pull an Excel document and I'd work through that. I can advise that they're probably not going to be looking to bring it up on the screen. I can definitely check. I just know it's not in the high priority list at the moment. So just make sure when you're doing these things, if you can, have a desktop nearby so it makes it a bit easier than trying to do it all on your phone. One of the other tips that we found, well, we know, Chrome. Use Chrome, don't try Internet Explorer. A couple of people, and that's the same thing, promote that out to your participants. They'll find it much easier entering if they go through Chrome. So I know I have covered a lot. I'm sorry, it's been a long session tonight, and I hope it wasn't too boring and you're not super sick of my voice yet. But Rach, did any questions come through that chat? Otherwise, I know we did get some questions pre that we can go through as well.
Yeah, we got a few, Rach, and I think we will just have to report back. There's a few coming through, so we want to make sure, obviously, we answer them all. So, yeah, as I said, if we don't get to them, we will come back to you. But Rach, you mentioned the like mobile compatibility with the system. So, can you just elaborate a little bit on that? Like, can referees do player sign-in scorecards from an iPhone or Android at the field? Like, will the system obviously be compatible with a smartphone, and will those sort of functionalities be available?
Yeah, look, currently they're working on it. I know the NRL has released their game day app as such a couple of weeks ago, and we should have a version of that coming. Using the term app very loosely, it won't be something you need to download. It'll be, you can access it via a web page and you just save that to your phone. That way you can do all your results. So you can do results on your phone if you're right there, and you should be able to have some of the other access in that period as well. Currently we don't have it, but it is working through. I can definitely chase up, try and get a timeline on that too.
And whilst Rach, we're on that topic of referees, is there a way that referees assigned against games in the database that they also display on the draw? Like, I know obviously the draw is very much a work in progress, but is there that likelihood of that capability?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I will chase that up and find out.
Yep, awesome. And another couple of questions that's come through similar in terms of like public holidays and with, you know, juniors don't play through school holidays, is there a way to exemption dates? So, or do you have to change the date manually on every round for each competition?
I don't know that exactly off the top of my head. I know exemption dates are definitely, actually, just give me 2 seconds. They might be coming up. No, they're in the next stage of the build. They know it's really important. It's being pushed forward. Currently not there. You will have to do that manually, but it should, over the next period, it should be something that's available in the system.
Awesome. Just getting a few more coming through. I think it was a bit of a chat going on with everybody. Just confirming, Rach, you may or may not be able to answer this one, but when they print the scorecard, like, so when we print the scorecard with the team list, that registered players will not appear on the team list unless we add them to that individual game before printing. Can you confirm?
Look, at the current moment, they won't, but the plan is that they should just pre-populate. That's where they're working towards.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Oh, and trust me, that it's a requirement that's needed. Some of the big events I feel everything that everyone must be feeling right now, because it's the exact same when we turn around at our big events, and I know I only have 2 of them. I'm not doing it week in, week out like you guys, but I am pushing as hard as possible without ruining friendships. The priorities that we need as a state.
And I think, and I know I've heard it, and I know you've heard it a lot, Rach, but there's some questions coming through, I guess, just about somewhat customization. So, you know, with the notification emails or even adding conditions of entry links, can you give us a bit of an update on where that currently sits?
Yeah, so I compiled a list of probably 50 questions that I thought from a state, and I got a bit of feedback from a couple of the testers that were required. Also to show Touch Ball Australia that it's every single level of the game that needs these customized options, and that they won't be able to create 10 that will fit everyone. So I will keep pushing, because I know for some of you it's incredibly difficult for you to take your registrations as now. So I will continue pushing. I know for us, it's a must. So we will get there. I just don't have a timeline on it now.
Thanks, Rach. And I think just another sort of general question. From an event registration perspective, I know a lot of our affiliates hold like holiday clinics and courses and that sort of thing. So will that event registration be available?
Yeah, I was actually about to bring this one just up, Rach. So it will be different to what was in Sports 2G. It'll actually be a program. If you jump onto the NRL website, actually, I can probably do it for you all quickly now. It will look like this. So it'll appear as a holiday clinic. If I put in, I don't know where they're running things at the moment, but I'll put in Sydney. And it'll appear like this. So you'll be able to create different programs that appear through the same sort of registration process. It's not available for us yet, but it will be. So that will be coming. And that's where I would be suggesting you do anything outside of where you actually need to run a competition. Your holiday clinics, courses, etc. should be done through here.
Awesome. Thanks, Rach. Well, it is 7 o'clock. Rach, was there any sort of further updates you wanted to provide the group before we log off? And
yeah, let me have, I think we've probably covered everything. Pool progression, it is in the build. So more information should be coming out on that shortly. Be aware that Touch Football Australia has their high priority list that they're working towards, and they are pushing really, really hard. I guess one of the aspects that's been quite hard for me in this process, I'm trying to provide as much help as I can to the affiliates in Queensland as possible, but we don't have control over the system. I am pushing, if you have key criteria that you absolutely need, can you please email me, because I will do the good fight and try and get everything that we need in the system, understanding that there's a priority list and everyone's actual requirements are slightly different. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks or so, we should see some movement in the system.
thanks, Rach. Yeah, I just want to, Rach, say big thank you to you, Rach, and just recognise all your hard work. So I know I'm in the office with you, and you have dedicated countless hours to this, and it's honestly just to help you guys, to help our affiliates. We just really want the system up and running. We want to get you guys back out in the field. So Rach, just thank you on behalf of, I know, the affiliates and obviously Queensland Touch. We really do appreciate you spending this time. And we'll, as I said, we'll go through all these questions. I'm sorry if we haven't answered all of them. As Rach alluded to in the beginning, we don't have all the answers, but we will definitely find them out for you, and we'll keep pushing with the different integrations and the stages of MySideline. So, but thank you everyone for this evening. And if you do think of any other questions post this meeting, just link them through to Rach or myself. We also will send out a bit of a survey, because we're happy to do more of these if you think it's useful. If you don't, let us know. We won't waste our time, but honestly, we're happy to provide more of these seminars if you're getting value out of it. So thanks guys, and thanks Rach, and we'll hopefully talk to you all soon.
Thanks everyone, good luck. Touch is back, it is great. See you all around on the field soon.
Thanks guys, have a good night. Bye.